Hey guys, how you doing?
Hello.
Welcome back to another interview. I've got Liv here.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Thanks for coming on. So we'll get into a little overview of you, who Liv is, and yeah.
Okay, so graduated 3 years ago. I'm studying nutrition and dietetics at Wollongong. The past 2 years I've been doing a lot of rehab because I've got a knee reco. So just getting back into soccer now, which has been, I guess, a toll on the mental health, not being able to get outside for ages and then do the things that you could always do.
Yeah.
But yeah, besides that, that's me.
Yeah. So, how are things at the moment?
Things are pretty good. Finished uni exams, went alright. Had to repeat subjects, so got them out of the way.
Yeah. I'm not keen for that.
Oh no, it's fine. But yeah, just chilling now.
Yeah.
Trying to
get some sort of schedule.
Yeah.
Some sort of
routine.
consistency. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Weird.
So again, to the issues will be the bulk of the interview. So what brings you here? What's like the overrunning issue?
So it would basically be anxiety.
Yeah.
Which is weird because for everybody and most people that know me, I don't really come across as someone that's anxious, like pretty laid back and relaxed.
Yeah.
But hyperactive, so it's like I go both ways.
Yeah.
In year 10, I sort of started having thought when I think of something and it just keep going in my brain, and I go in circles and circles and circles. But it's always been me, so I never knew it was anxiety. I just thought,
you just thought that's just you, yeah.
Whatever. And then sort of year 10 it started. Year 11 was a bit worse. Year 12 worse with exams, whatever.
Yeah.
Didn't really even know it was anxiety till probably last year.
Right.
So it's been for 5 years.
Yeah, and you're just running rampant for you don't even know what's
And I think a lot of people go through the stage of denying you have something wrong.
Yeah.
And that was definitely a thing for me. But I was such an overthinker. I almost overthink it to the point that I could convince myself I didn't have it.
Yeah.
And then it was sort of a turning point. Like last year, I was going out in Cronulla, going to go out, and I really didn't want to. And I didn't know why, but I just felt really scared to go out. And that was not me because I love going out. I love socialising.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, how can I be socially anxious if I love socialising? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting there and my heart was racing. It was basically like first panic attack, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I got up and started pacing in my house. And I literally, no one was home, I didn't know what to do. No one was over, no one had come to freeze yet. And I ended up vomiting. I had a full on and then I was fine, but I was really tired.
Yeah.
Still went out.
But
then when I went out, I felt so sick I had to come home.
Yeah.
So it was it was me knowing that it was anxiety was the nausea part.
Right.
And vomiting.
Yeah.
But all through year 11 and 12 I was doing that.
Yeah.
And I thought it was because I had intolerances to food. Turns out it wasn't.
It was, yeah.
It was just anxiety.
It's such a like a poisonous thing that just it reaches into every second of your day.
Yeah.
Because at least for me,
Yeah.
it kind of attacks every little thing I do.
Yeah.
So even if it's something I've done always and I've getting used to it, it becomes something that overcomplicates every little thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Makes you, things that you think are normal could just be changed, and something you think,
Yeah.
what the hell? I don't know before, why is it hard now?
Right.
Yeah.
Did it ever evolve into a depression, or was it just kind of just very anxiety?
Luckily.
Yeah.
I definitely went through stages, but when I couldn't leave the house.
Yeah.
So when I did my knee, I literally laid on the couch all day. I literally couldn't even get myself up to go to the bathroom. It was messed up.
Yeah.
So I was there with my head all day. So that, I remember thinking to myself, holy crap, I can't imagine people that have lifelong injuries. You would be so depressed, because I had a little bit of that, definitely.
Yeah.
But once I was able to get out, I felt a lot better.
Yeah.
Which was lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's when you get so used to being able to go outside and that being the norm, and when something shakes up your world, you don't really know how to
react to it.
Yeah.
I felt stuck in there. Stuck.
Right.
It was so weird.
And I guess how would you explain the type of anxiety you have to people not sure about it? Yeah. Or don't have it yet?
I guess So the first thing I notice is my thoughts, so they start circling. So if you have, some people have a thought and they can just dismiss it and it's just a thought, whereas I'll have a thought, think about the thought, think about thinking about the thought to the point that I feel sick.
Oh wow.
And then when I feel sick, my heart races, I can get the shakes, like literally the shaking can't stop.
Wow.
And it will go, like I can't go to sleep, so if it's at night, I'll try and close my eyes, go to sleep. I feel like I'm asleep, but you know when it's like REM sleep, you're not really completely asleep. And then I'll keep waking up and then my heart's racing all night.
Yeah.
So now, like if I ever do get it, which I don't often anymore, I have to stay up.
Yeah.
Because it makes me more calm. If I try and force myself to go to bed, it makes it just a stress.
Just can't let it happen.
Yeah.
Have you
Take its course.
like, so even doing things that are intentionally designed to calm you down, like reading, having tea, or like maybe sleeping tablets, like have you even?
I've never had sleeping tablets. I have had anti-nausea, but that's because I was up all night, you know, vomiting, whatever.
Yep.
For me, I did the whole meditation thing, like the mindfulness, and I tried to do it every day at the same time at night. But then I found that because a lot of the time it did happen at night, I had this like connotation with good, like going to bed being the time I have anxiety, and then it just So I tried to like make it in the morning, and then making myself do it made me anxious. Like trying to do that meditation for the fact of getting rid of your anxiety made me feel anxious doing it.
It's just adding on top of an already existing problem.
It was so weird because I was like, it's meant to be helping me breathing and relaxing, but I sit there and my heart's racing because I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
So now I think it got to the point that you've got to accept what you feel. I didn't really accept it. I wanted to push it away.
Just get it out of here,
But then you've got to sit there and go, okay, this is how I feel, you know, I'm not unsafe, I'm in a safe environment, there's nothing to be scared of, I'm going to be fine, there's no reason to be sick, like, it's definitely, telling yourself out, being stronger than your mind, which is the weirdest thing to think of, but
Right. So I guess with the anxiety, the best way I would describe it, or just in general, anything with mental health, is that you're like running in circles, like you're walking this pattern, and unless you change what you're doing, you're just gonna repeat the same thing every single time. Like you have a thought and it develops to the point where you're anxious about the thought, and it's just like,
it keeps going.
It's crazy. But was it something that it obviously kind of kept you in, and it kind of like it constricted you, I guess.
Yeah.
But did it also at some points make you very like erratic and like wanting to do different things and do this and that to, I guess, combat?
Get rid of it.
Yeah, type of thing. Yeah.
I think definitely it made me more aware of what I was doing. Like, for example, when it was really bad when it first started, I didn't really, like you always take care of yourself, but I wasn't taking as much care of myself then as I do now. As in fitness and health. And I remember thinking that to myself, like, wow, I feel like shit, but maybe it's because I'm not eating well, or maybe it's because I'm not, I don't know, studying hard enough and I'm not getting going as good as I can, and I knew that. But in terms of it changing my normal actions, not really. I think it changed me as in it made me more of a homebody. Which is frustrating as for me because I hate it.
It's
not what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, 17, so I was like as soon as you starting to like do everything.
Yeah.
So very weird.
Yeah, so that's confusing.
Yeah.
And was it something that brought you to be anxious about long-term situations and long-term goals and stuff?
So leaving like at the end of school, didn't know what I wanted to do.
Same.
Dad was like, here, this sounds like a good course if you like food tech, and I was like, food tech is nowhere near studying science. I used to be a dietitian, but YOLO, I'll just give it a go. And it's all I could sort of think of, and I was really interested in that, and then having this anxiety and then sort of getting onto the health train again. I was wanting to pursue something in that field, didn't know what, so I did it. Then I hated it. Like, absolutely hated it. First semester was messed up. But I passed, so I kept going. But then I was sitting, like, studying at nights, like, it was probably 8 o'clock at night, and my heart was racing. My heart was pounding out of my neck. I could feel it. I could feel my heart racing. Because I'm trying to force the study on myself. Because I knew that I've got to do, like, so well to pass, blah, blah, blah. And I wasn't enjoying it. And so when I looked down the track and I was like, is this the job I want? Is this the degree I want to do? I'm wasting my time, I'm wasting my money.
Yeah.
And because I have those thoughts, that circle, I couldn't really get to like, here's the problem and here's the solution. It was just like all in the middle.
Yeah.
That was probably the biggest issue.
Right.
So then I ended up deferring at the end of the second year when I finally actually failed something. So it took me to fail before I actually left. But then I ended up coming back when I realised there's nothing else I want to do and it's something good to fall back on.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's a big thing coming out of high school. That was definitely for me. I feel like there's not enough. There is guidance, but there's not enough.
Near enough. No.
I don't think there's enough leading up to it. Like, you kind of live this carefree life, kind of like 7 to 10, and then you hit 11 to 12, and then you hit with this, okay, so what are you going to do?
The rest of your life.
Yeah, and so, yeah, exactly. So, I had no idea. So, that's something that I think needs more attention in the earlier years, start to figure out.
Yeah, big time. Like my sister has no idea, she's 16 and I ask her almost every week, like, think about it, because when you get to that stage you don't want to have all that stress on you, because then you make an impulse decision like I did.
Yeah.
You're happy with it.
Yeah, right.
You're stuck in it.
And kind of screwed yourself over in a way, like.
Correct.
Like it's not something that, ruins your life, but it just it can set you back a bit.
Yeah, and I think the influence of what other people want you to do also determines what you end up doing, but it shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like, example, Dad was like, do that, and I was like, oh, that's a good idea. But if I just sat there with myself, I probably would have done something completely opposite.
Right, yeah.
So I think it's also not bad to take a year off after school.
Right.
And think
That's
about
what I did. I did like a year and a half.
Really?
It was up and down, but it was probably the best thing to do for me, because I would have been a nervous wreck in uni. Like, oh god, I would have not gotten through that. So sometimes it is good to have a gap year. Definitely not opposed against it, and even taking a couple of years, you start to start swimming more in the big world.
Yeah.
Like you go from
so different.
you go from being high school and then you're now in the bigger world. So you kind of need to ease into that instead of just jumping into something that you think.
Yeah, you have no idea. Like when you finish school, you think, oh, I want to go straight into the degree so I can get finished as soon as I can, and then I can do A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
But then you get in there and you don't like it. Like that 1 year seems like a long time and feels like it's going to set you back, but you end up being in front of everyone else because they're at uni not knowing what they want to do, and you figure it out.
Yeah.
You just took the time off.
Exactly. Yeah. And like I can't sometimes worry about that because I'm starting like a year and a half late.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm thinking,
it's not even own time.
It's about what I'm going to be doing for whatever 30, 40 years. Like, it's so many years, and it's only going to get higher, which is stressful. But 1 year at a time.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
And
so
what else was I going to say? You can't think of it when you're in that situation. Like you need to go externally from the situation you're in to assess it. Like I would be at uni going, oh, is this what I want to do? But because I had all the work, I couldn't really sit there and think about it. So taking off the 6 months actually helped me to like look from a different perspective.
Yeah.
I think what I want.
And that's really big. If you can look outside of your shoes, stop being so like closed-minded, you can start to make better decisions for your life.
Yeah,
like
it's clearer.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So when you said it took you 5 years to kind of address the anxiety, and when you finally did, finally, did you who did you tell first? Like, did you eventually tell your parents?
So funny story, like classic Cronulla story. Mum was at the Sharks game, and I was at home about to go. Fredd's about to go to Old Joe's. Yeah, Old Joe's. And people were coming over, and I texted Mum and I said, like, she knows that I always get sick, and we'd gone through like, all the specialists in the friggin' Shire to figure out what I had wrong with me, and they couldn't tell me. Like I did end up having an intolerance to gluten, but that's a long story. That wasn't really, like, it doesn't really make you vomit, but I thought that was what it was. Yeah. So every time I have it,
dependent as well.
Every time I have gluten, I'd freak out and vomit. But that was getting anxious over it, not that it actually was the food.
It wasn't actually,
Yeah, so I texted Mum, and at that stage, I was just over it. I'm like, I cannot do this anymore. Like, this is messed up. Mum, I need to see someone. And I told her that before, but I think it's also weird. Like, our generation is so different to our parents, and we're so much more accepting of seeing a psychologist or whatever. Mum 100% is for that, but it's just she didn't understand what was wrong.
Yeah.
She didn't understand that I needed to see someone. She thought like, oh, I'm the same live, like just do this and this and this and it'll help you. I'm like, no, I actually cannot sit here and vomit on every Friday night.
No.
And I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And now I know it's anxiety, so I need help. So then she came home and came to my auntie and she was like, are you okay? You're not going to die or anything? Like she was really freaking
really?
out. Yeah. And I was like, no, I'm just vomiting because I'm anxious.
Yeah.
But yeah, once I did find out, is that what you're going to say? What ended up happening when I found out?
Oh, I guess yeah. Like you did tell like your parents.
Yeah,
about
tell
it.
them. They all, I think they all sort of knew. Like they sort of, I think Dad knew because his fiance's kids, or one of them, has a bit of anxiety as well. And so he'd always say, oh, you know, she does this and you do that too, maybe it's that. And I'm like, no, it's not. I don't have that.
No.
So I think they knew. My friends, they knew as well.
Right.
But they weren't going to say, you have anxiety, because you can't really tell someone they have mental illness unless they know it themselves and they can admit it themselves.
Right.
But they all knew I overthought. They all knew that I got sick when I had certain things and didn't go out often because I couldn't drink.
Yeah.
But it's because I was anxious when I drank.
Yeah. That leads me to the next thing about your friends. So how was the support and understanding from them?
Oh, crazy. Like that, even that night, one of my closest friends came over because we were all going out. And I said to her, it's anxiety. She goes, look, I knew it was anxiety. I just couldn't tell you that because we went away to Bali together and I had the same thing happen. And she has it too.
Oh, really?
Okay. So yeah, definitely, like the support was crazy. Like I guess you realise when you're in those times who your closest friends are.
Yeah, you realise.
And who has your back. But yeah, you'd be surprised, like there's so many people that do have a mental illness, if not have experienced at least something like that. But when I told, it wasn't even really like I had to tell anyone because they all, like all my close friends are so close, they know everything anyway. So it's not like I have to be like, oh, by the way, I realised I have it.
They weren't really coming out or anything. You know,
they already knew.
Yeah.
Like they expected that I was gonna, get there someday.
Yeah.
But yeah, they definitely did help.
Yeah.
Like, distracting me or making me feel comfortable or going out with me. Like that night we still went out.
Yeah.
It was totally fine with going home early because they knew.
They knew kind of.
Yeah.
I was definitely the same. I went year 8, basically. No, year 8. 18.
Yeah.
In age 18,
Yeah.
I went the first 8 months until my birthday without drinking. I was just like,
no way.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because I had drunk before that. I
Okay.
started drinking around 16.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mum. But yeah, and I kind of just got sick of it, so I stopped it for 8 months, and I was basically a homebody, which was good and bad. I was saving money.
Yes,
and I got to chill do things. Yeah. So the money thing was big, but I was also just kind of felt, I don't know, I didn't like being at home. Same as yourself, you kind of feel like you're missing out on things. You kind of feel like you're not doing anything.
The worst FOMO.
Yeah.
I say all the time. And then it got to the point I'm like, I feel like I'm missing out, but I'm not going. So what's the problem? Like, what's stopping you, sort of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that friend of yours who was going through the same things.
Yeah.
How have you learnt from her or him? Not sure who it is.
Yeah, girl.
Okay.
How have I learned? Well, I guess it's sort of like having someone that has something common with you goes a longer way than you think. Like it's not even that she said, oh, do this, but more like I've done that, I felt that. Like just knowing that someone else is in the same situation as you can help in general. But I think, she helped me figure out what it was because she was like, I have it, I know I have it, and I do those things.
Yeah.
But she's just like, stop thinking about it, you need to relax, or this is black and white, like I'm so in between, and she's very black and white.
Yeah.
So she helps in a way. Like if I have a problem, I speak to her and she's like, you're going in circles. This is a problem and this is a solution.
Yeah. And I guess with the anxiety, were you like a high achiever in school? Like you were very...
Yeah, tried.
Yeah,
very
you tried?
Much, very much tried, very hard.
Right, because I had Cody
on
the first interview, and she was like top of the class always and stuff like that, and it was I mean, that's great to do. Like I wish I was that like smart. But yeah, there's like a certain void, I guess you feel after school because you're like, oh, I've gotten these marks, don't know what I'm gonna I guess do with them.
That's the issue.
And anytime being a perfectionist, you can run yourself pretty anxious.
Yeah, like I remember thinking while I was studying for the HSC, I couldn't study because I would be so anxious about what am I going to do afterwards and what ATAR am I going to get and how am I going to get the ATAR. Like I would be on that calculator. If I get this, and this in this subject and then this in this subject, how will I get like 90, whatever the hell I wanted? Every day. Like, because it would like consume me.
Yeah.
That number.
That number was so important. Yeah.
It's so bad. And then I couldn't study because I was worrying about the number. And I was like, if I keep worrying about the number, I won't study and I won't get it.
Yeah.
It was messed up.
Yeah.
And then afterwards you realise you don't need it.
Yeah. It's obviously important, but it's...
yes. Like right now I'm in the same situation as, like, not talking about numbers, but if you get over 90, you get into a certain course that's a year shorter. If you get just over 70, you get into a course that's 1 year longer.
Okay.
But now that I've failed 2 subjects, I'm going to be there for the same time anyway.
Yeah,
so all that stress to
it
get
all
90,
happens.
it was like, what the hell was the point of that?
Yeah.
But yeah.
I always went on and I would check it based off my marks at the moment.
Yeah.
And it was like 52 and I'm like, shit.
That'll be a good one.
Oh no. And I was looking for around like a 78 at the time.
Yes.
That's what I was looking for. I was like, shit.
That's good.
I got what I needed in the end, but
that's good.
it was like, I was kind of stressing over that.
Too, but even in the end, like the night, you know how you get your mark first and you get ATAR the next day. I put my marks in and I was like, oh, like it's going to be lower than I want. It wasn't going to be like maybe just 90 or just over. It was so much worse.
So much worse than you thought.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Like, I cried.
Oh.
It was hilarious. I was crying and laughing at myself while crying, but I still got into the course.
You still
you get like extra points for bloody
you got
final captain
all
or
that
whatever.
stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're school captain there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Interesting.
Represent.
That was funny.
I guess the darkest moment or like a scary moment. Obviously, you'd had these nights where you were I guess vomiting for no reason for what you thought. But any others that come to mind? I guess.
So definitely the day when that night when I was pacing, I was like, shit, this is a panic attack, or close to what I know as a panic attack.
Is whatever something new. This is something.
Yeah, I
next
hadn't
level.
realised, which is I needed because that's what made me lead to me knowing. Those nights definitely. I don't think anything else.
Yeah.
Like I haven't literally since that night. Just knowing or just sort of admitting that you have it, you can. Like, I never even saw a psychologist at this time. Like I still haven't.
Yeah.
But you just can. Like there's so much out there and so much information that you can learn from, and like online the stuff that can help you and like teaches you how to even deal with anxiety without actually seeing anyone. Yeah. It's crazy. Like just admitting that I had it has changed me like so much. Yeah. I haven't vomited. I couldn't even tell you how long, but I used to do it every week. 100% once a week at least.
Just accepting it.
Yeah.
Might have been that term.
Yeah, because it was like you're overthinking everything, but then also overthinking if you have it. Like I had anxiety about having anxiety. Yeah. Like that was a thing. I was worried to have it, but there's nothing wrong with it. Everyone goes through it, and that's sort of what you have to realise.
And everyone does. We're stronger once we start saying something about it to each other. That's true. I think it's great that you caught yourself, although it was 5 years. Maybe four. Yeah. It was a long time, but the fact that you caught yourself and ever since it's been better is like absolutely huge, because you could have kind of just let it go for some time and thought, you were I don't know, you could have just thought you were fine, type of thing. But I think very few catch themselves and type of thing. So it's great that you did that, and it's what been since you first kind of addressed it, accepted it. How long has it been since then?
Probably 2 years.
2 years,
yeah. Or 2 years, or maybe a year and a half. I don't even know, probably about that. Yeah. And
you've still been able to do what you did before, like go out with friends and be social, be active.
Yeah. So the social part of it, like I didn't go out for so long, but I guess it depends if you're in a relationship, whatever, like that all comes into it. I didn't go out, and I feel like that was also like not holding you back or anything, but like a safe spot. Like I knew that I didn't have to. Like it was sort of an excuse not to go out.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I won't work when I don't have to go out. But I wanted to, but I sort of told myself that I'd be okay with missing out. But then I got to the stage where I was like, shit, like, I don't want to stay at home every weekend. It's so boring. I don't want to go out. Which is only recently have I started again. Like feeling comfortable in doing it, and you have heard of like exposure therapy and stuff like that. So you have to expose yourself to the stimulus that triggers you to be able to get over it. It's like you can't face a fear without facing it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Definitely. So like for me, drinking was one of those things. I couldn't drink, and now I can because I did it and just told myself I'd be fine and I'm not going to be sick, and then it makes it easier every time. Yeah. It's hard, but it makes it easier every time.
That's great. And that's so true. If you're not facing it, it's just it's in the back of your mind or across the room for you. It's just gonna be there always unless you start actually facing it. And like I look at it, for me, I think of it as like quote unquote demons, like like type of just like something that is trying to mess with you. And so if you start addressing it, you know, that gets exposed, and you start to realize that, you know, the problem isn't really you. No. The problem isn't, you know, like you're like this.
It's like an external thing.
Yeah, it's just something that you can start working towards.
Yeah, and if you deny it, or if you don't think into it or look into it, or like maybe see someone and figure out what it is, it's gonna show up in some way, shape or form. Like you might be more irritable, or you might take it out on your mum, or you wanna, I don't know, gain weight or vomit, for example.
Yeah.
Your body's trying to tell you there's something wrong.
And that, exactly. Yeah. It's, you don't know which thoughts are rational or not. And so
I used to feel like I had two. Like at the beginning, I just felt like I was crying one night to mum, going, it feels like there's two people in my head. There's me and this other me, and they just don't understand each other. It was absolutely fucked.
It's like, did you feel like you were kind of living two lives? Like you had this one person who is something you've always been, outgoing, you know, very bright, confident, and then you had this other one who was kind of kept inside and kept to yourself.
So weird. It's so confusing. Because I'm like the most open person you'll ever meet. And I'm one of those people that people will tell me things, they feel comfortable telling me things because I'm open with them in return. And then sometimes I'm closed off and I don't understand what's going on, and it's so strange.
It's hard living two lives.
Yeah, that's how I feel. It's like in Montana, but like, it's messed up.
But you're not a millionaire.
Yeah, I wish. But yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I definitely feel that. It's weird, like, for me, I was this way, I had two jobs during this time, I was this way with this work group, and the other I was like very shy. So again, to the third part, which is some advice, some revelations, and some reflection. So some therapeutic activities, these are absolutely huge. I think that they are what get you through each day, because it is a day-to-day thing. So what are those for you?
I'd say running. Like long distance. I don't really know when that started, but I've always liked it since I was younger. When the anxiety sort of first started, I'd probably just training, getting outside, listening to music, going for drives. Because I feel like when you drive, you get in your mind, like you can't really think about it as much. Which sometimes helps to think more clearly. Because my problem was too many thoughts at once. So if you're driving, you've got to focus on that, and you can only have really one thing in your head at a time. Plus, obviously, the road.
It's a focus. It's a focus thing that it is very important.
Definitely the meditation thing in the beginning, until it made me too anxious to do. But I do it now, and I'm fine now. Breath work.
Oh yes, that's huge.
Massive for me. Only recently as well have I like actually done it every day, which is crazy.
Is that the diaphragmatic one? That's huge. I realise how much that's helped.
Affirmations.
Positive affirmations, they're huge.
I'd probably say that's it. Oh, and weirdest thing, I actually read somewhere, but having pets. And like spending time with your pets reduces your anxiety.
Oh, for sure.
But I'm like, this is so weird, but it definitely works.
They had this weird understanding of us when we're not feeling great.
100%. Like my dog laid next to me when I had my knee done downstairs. She would not leave. It's so weird.
So get a dog or a cat or something.
Get a dog, 100%.
it's good to have something that you can be affectionate towards and just
patting them is meant to reduce the stress.
Yeah.
I know, it's actually mine of it.
Yeah. I think you can kill two birds with one stone. Like you can take them for a walk, and you're also taking yourself for a walk.
So true.
It's like, it's just really you're in your own zone, you know. Yeah. Right. And so studying to be a dietitian, right?
Yes.
What I guess have you learned from that so far?
With the mental stuff, or
I think just in general that has helped you with all of this.
Well, I guess like one of the main things is if you're not filling your body with what it needs, it's going to show one way or another, whether that's like weight or acne or stress or hormone imbalances, all that jazz. And you learn that it's important to have whole foods and I don't know, just really cut out crap from your diet. Yeah. And it does make you feel better, and your brain is clearer. And like I notice if I eat, say, gluten because I'm intolerant to it, I can't concentrate as well as if I had a mad salad or something. Yeah. I don't know, it's just a thing. It could be mental, but it's definitely, like, obviously studies have shown that. Yeah. But yeah, learned that it's important to do the whole food thing. Right. And that the importance of exercising and reducing your stress and like disease and everything. So I think, studying that also helped me to stay on track with reaching my goals and also not, I guess, falling back off the bandwagon and going back into like another dark place. Yeah. And that's something for me. I'm not the best eater. Like I'm not great with that, and I can be inconsistent with my exercise. Yeah. I think the main thing I've found when I am consistent is just that I have one thing to do per day. So one form of exercise to do per day. Because once I do that exercise, I feel amazing, and then I'm more inclined to eat something more healthy. So I think it's tough to start out with a schedule, obviously. But my whole thing is that one thing a day. You wake up, you go for a run, or you go for a walk or swim, whatever it may be. If you can just get one thing done, then you'll get to the point where like, oh damn, like I can fit all these other things in my day, and getting up earlier 100% helps as well. When you're sleeping for longer and you feel like crap when you wake up, getting up early helps as well. Yeah. But I think also when you first start, you sort of want to make a plan or be like, I'm going to train all these days and I'm going to do 2 sessions and I'm going to run 8Ks, and it's like not maintainable and not going to happen. I think what you're saying is so true. If you just have one goal a day, just to be more active, like whether that is going for a walk around the block or going out and playing with dog runs, or like it doesn't have to be an 8K run. Yeah, exactly. But it all makes a difference. Yeah. Everything that you do. It's it's you have these like 3 things. So you have your activity is like actual exercise, which is intense and it's good to do. And then you have at the bottom, which is like the rest. I think finding that balance, which is like incidental activity, like walking and whatever it may be, if you can find a middle ground for something that is still healthy for you to do, but it's not, stressing you out. Intense, not stressing you out, that's absolutely huge. So walks are big for that. Doing something simple like playing with a pet. Soccer in the backyard. Yeah, something. Really. Yeah, exactly. Having a hobby. It's definitely important. So I think when you don't have anything to work towards or a goal that you have or something that you enjoy, it's hard to train. Like people just don't want to train because they don't like it, which is totally understandable. Yeah. And I feel like we all go through stages of that. But if you have something you enjoy doing, you're going to be more inclined to keep doing it. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. So go through some advice, some good advice and some not so good advice that you've heard. Not so good, we'll start with that. Yeah. When you say, I can't stop thinking about it, people literally say, just stop thinking about it. And it's like, you can't just stop thinking about it. That's definitely the worst advice I've got. And I feel like a lot of people do say that. Every person I've had on, I've had something similar to that. Yeah. Like, stop overthinking. Yeah, stop thinking about it. Like, okay. And people will actually laugh at me for overthinking. But now, like, and I used to get offended, like they're laughing at me for everything, but now I'm like, it's just me and I can deal with that. But that's definitely a thing, stop thinking about it. And I think when they say stop thinking about it, it makes you want to think about it more, because you're like, crap, they know that I'm thinking about it. No, there's some pressure. Good advice. Well, funny thing is, you know when those talkers come to school and they're like Headspace or whatever, or Batir?
Yeah, Batir.
I used to go and feel so anxious in those stuff. I didn't even know I had anxiety at the time because it was like year 11 or year 10.
Wow.
I didn't even want to sit there because I'd think, shit, do I have that?
Mm.
And it would make me freak out. Which is obvious that I had it because
Like
I was
they were
worrying so much.
targeting you or something?
Yeah, I just felt like really like hot. I could get like hot sweats and stuff, and they talk about it because I knew that I had it, but it was a bit of a denial thing.
Yeah.
So strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're feeling like that, definitely go and see someone earlier rather than later because it like it's nothing to be ashamed of, and it helps.
Of course.
Amazingly, and you don't need to have mental illness to see someone or talk to someone.
Oh, of course.
See a psychologist. What other good advice did I get? Well, definitely seeing someone in general. Like if someone says,
100%.
I feel like the issue around here is there isn't really that many that, I don't know, they're not really promoted much.
No.
Like different psychs.
Yeah.
I hear it from word of mouth, who's good. If I look it up, it's the most confusing thing. There's so many places to go. They're all like different prices.
Yeah.
I know Headspace in Miranda is free if you get the mental health care plan from GP.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, I think that was good advice when I heard about that.
Yeah.
Because my problem was crap. Like, mum's going to pay for it, dad might pay for
Yeah.
it, family has to pay for it somehow.
Some sort of money involved.
Yes.
And I think it's with something like this, like what I'm doing with this, and there's so many others out there. There's like a Turn Up the Talk, like podcasting.
Yep.
If there's something that you don't need to pay anything for, and you don't need to do any paperwork for type of thing, you just go on, give your spiel type of thing. Yeah, like that was kind of something that I wish I had in a way, but I ended up seeing a really great therapist. His name's Peter. I'm doing an interview with him soon. But yeah, he was absolutely incredible. He like helped me manifest
What you want?
just things I wanted to do, just simple things.
Crazy.
He was insane.
That's
He's called a hypnotherapist because he's not like he's not doing that stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, and that's it's hard to find the right person. But I feel if you have someone who genuinely cares, and you can see they're not just ticking off boxes as questions, they actually want to make you better. Then that's something you want to keep around.
Yeah, and it's not. There's no pressure to stay with the person if you don't feel like you're gelling with them or whatever. Like, definitely move around and try and find someone that you feel comfortable with, because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing to actually, I don't know, get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
Because you'll feel stuck no matter what if you're not gelling with that person.
Yeah.
What other the good advice I got was towards anxiety. With it feels like you've got two people in your head. You imagine the bad version of you, or the version that you say is your demon. Yeah. And you literally beat them up in your head. So when you have the thoughts, you imagine beating them up in your head until it's just done, and then it goes away. Yeah. I don't know where I learned that or who told me that,
like that.
But it fully works.
Sounds good.
I feel like it'd be good for guys as well, but
that's
when I do it. It's so weird.
We're violent.
What else have I had? That one, and accepting it. So when you feel it, understand it's there, and like tell yourself, I feel anxious, and just accept it. Don't fight it. Like, oh shit, I feel anxious, I need to go for a run, or I need to write, or I need to meditate. Yeah. So just pushing it away, which is making yourself feel more fight or flight. Yeah. Which makes it worse.
And you're always gonna flight in that situation because you don't know how to. Yeah. In the first place.
So I think just being there with your thoughts and just accepting that they're there, it actually passes so much quicker. And then also knowing that it will pass. So telling yourself, I've been through this 100 times. Yeah. I'm going to come out in about 10 minutes and literally feel fine. Yeah. But in the moment you forget that and you're like, shit, this is going to be forever. Like in the moment you think that it won't go away. But when you tell yourself that, it goes away quicker. Yeah, it's like an exam. You're in there, you're like shitting it like it's the worst thing ever. But you realise, man, I'm out of here in an hour or two. I'm going to be okay. Yeah. There's a light at the end. Yep. And you do get out and you realise, damn, like that was so quick. I shouldn't have worried that much because I killed it. Exactly. Hopefully.
Yeah. What is something you'd tell your younger self, knowing what you know now?
Honestly, I think of this all the time. Like when I hear it, and I'm like, I actually don't know. And I try and think of something that I would tell my younger self, but I guess the easiest way to say it is just let it be. Yeah. like everything that happens, I guess sometimes it happens for a reason, depends what you believe. But I don't know. I don't know what I'm telling. I guess that you'll get through it.
Yeah, that's really really simple. It's just saying
you never know what's going to come. So even if I did have someone tell me when I was younger, like, you know, this is anxiety and blah blah blah, I think maybe knowing more about it when I was younger, or I think knowing more about it and more of the symptoms, and maybe getting advice about it, like when I was sick, someone telling me that that's not normal, or I don't know, I didn't really have that. I didn't believe it, but nor did the people around me. They didn't think I was anxious either, because they're like, you're not anxious. I saw a specialist and he goes, you're not a very anxious person, are you? I was like, no. He goes, yeah, I didn't think so. And that was like it. So that was like, okay. Because I don't come across like that. Right. So I know, I guess just don't be scared to get help. Would probably be a thing. Don't push emotions or feelings away, like denying things. And let it be. Let it be. That's
a good song, actually.
Yeah, it is.
What is something you know you can do better moving forward?
With that?
Just in taking care of yourself, I guess.
Probably focusing more on the breathwork stuff. Because I know that makes the biggest difference for me. I have a clearer mind, which helps the whole situation. And then, of course, staying on top of your nutrition, because I think that's really important. And training as well, but training is getting better. Joining a new gym.
Bit of an off-ball question, but when you did, this is something sort of me asking you, because I was like eating good for some time, and then nowadays I'm kind of like half. You know what I mean? How long did you ever reach a point where you were eating bad, and if so, like how long did it take you to get back into, I guess, normality?
So I think I was always very conscious, which probably wasn't because of me, but because of my mum. Like, because as a family, like, she was very like that. So I was always very conscious. Then year 10, when I started having all the troubling thoughts in the world with the whatever, I ate like crap. But I think it gets a bit more intense in year 10. You actually got to start figuring out subjects and exams, and you actually I definitely tried hard in year 10, and most people just don't.
I wish I did as much as I did.
That is the same as me.
Oh god.
And then I realised I just felt crap. I looked crap. I felt crap. I thought I looked crap. My brain was crap. I was tired. I didn't do anything. Like, I did stuff with friends, but I didn't like go and exercise every day. And I'd definitely done that beforehand. So I guess like year 8, year 9 was healthy, and then year 10 was like down. When I'm like, it was like one of those, you know, when people say they dye their hair and then mental breakdown. It was black. My hair was blue black. It's very interesting. Then
that's how I got this smile.
I was gonna say.
But I'm happy with it.
Then after that, would you say, when did you realise, or when did you get back to normality?
I guess how long did it take?
Oh god. Well, I feel like it was just one specific day. I don't really know why, I just remember it. And I was eating something after school and I felt sick. And I was like, this is probably why I feel sick, because I'm eating shit. And then I just stopped eating crap. And I just tried harder. And then I think also knowing I was going to D-LAR as well, it was like going to be a different environment, and I wanted to help myself before immersing myself fully in something new. So
okay,
probably a couple of months.
Sweet. Hell yeah. So last question, we'll finish off. I guess the best advice from yourself to anyone who is struggling in a similar way.
See someone.
Definitely
see someone. No matter how intense it is, just get help. It doesn't, like, it's going to help you at the end of the day, either way, shape or form. You'd rather be improving yourself than sitting in the same situation. And I think I used to say, like, going up to the same door and expecting something different is insanity. Like, that's what I always say to myself. Which is like, you know, changing the environment you're in, or if you're struggling at uni, you don't like it, take a step back, stuff like that. The battery sun up in your head, the anxiety in your head, that works.
I like that.
Breath work, like deep breathing through the nose, out the mouth. I do it at morning and night, like when I wake up, when I go to bed, or in the shower even. And what other one was it for anxious? Oh yeah, accepting when you feel anxious.
Yeah.
And that will help let it pass quicker when you just accept it and don't try and fight it.
Yes.
That's probably the best thing. Yeah.
Sweet. I think anxiety is at the core of everything, and if you learn
Correct.
to have strategies and tools to deal with it, you can really use it to your advantage.
Definitely, because everyone's
And that's
gonna.
what all those things do.
Yeah, and everyone's gonna have times of anxiety, depression in their life. It's just like how to cope with it, and I guess how much it affects you. And if you can't cope with it alone, there's no problem with that. You need to get help elsewhere, and it's definitely worth it.
Yeah. Sweet. It's a wrap. Thank you for coming on.
No worries.
Appreciate it. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you found something helpful from this, and I hope you have a good day.